DJ Rhett Podcast.
How's your mom and them?
All right, guys. So I wanted to kind of put my thoughts and ideas down on this next podcast here. Talk all about the Saints, Drew Brees, how I became a Saints fan. A lot of people, I'm from down the bayou. I'm from Louisiana. I'm a down the bayou dude, born and raised in Houma, Louisiana my entire life. And when you grow up around this area, there's a lot of things that stay true to tradition and just the different things that we do down here. And there's LSU football, there's gumbo, there's rice, there's sugar cane, there's all kind of stuff. But one of the true things that keep us going and keep us motivated is the New Orleans Saints. They started out in the 1960s. They've been around for 50 plus years, and I mean they have been the lowest of the low and the highest of the high. I mean, as far as when I started following them, I was a young guy. I was like really young. I mean, I was like 3 or 4 years old, and my dad was a huge Saints fan, and he used to always, dress me up in the, the Saints jerseys and stuff like that. And, we'd always have the toys that have the footballs and stuff like that for Christmas. And, we'd always, we had our heroes growing up with the Saints and everything like that. But, I mean, I just wanted to kind of talk to y'all because I know we're coming to the end of an era. I'm not sure if Drew Brees is going to be, the quarterback next year. I hope he's satisfied. I don't know if he's the type of guy that's satisfied with the way he played last night and he's good with it and he can go on with it. I think it is time for him to go. Not from a I don't think it's from a he can't do it standpoint. I just think it's emotionally when you're in the National Football League for 15 years. To me, that's gotta wear yourself down, especially when you're like a little kid and it starts off at 5 years old and you're making your way through, bitty ball. You're making your way through the training camps when you're little. You go through the little summer camps and stuff like that. You play bitty ball all the way up until you get into junior high. You do junior high. And that's about the time when you figure out if I'm really going to do this, if this is going to be a career path for me. You go into high school, then you got these scouts looking at you. You're trying to be perfect 24/7. All eyes are on you. Then you get recruited. You go into your college. You have 4 or 5 years over there, depending on how, or 3. They come out real early nowadays in the NFL draft. Then you make an NFL career out of it. If you're lucky to get to the NFL career, I think the average lifetime of an NFL player on paper is, I think it's like 5 or 6 years. But, I mean, you got some of these guys like the Drew Breeses, the Tom Bradys, the Ben Roethlisbergers, those guys that kind of keep themselves in shape and, they're in it for the long haul. I mean, 20-plus years these guys have been in the National Football League. And I just think from a physical standpoint, I think these guys can still do it. I just think from a mental side, it's wearing down, and I think it's a good time for Drew to exit right now. I know it wasn't his, the curtain call. Hey, he runs off the field, with a Super Bowl championship in his hands. I mean, not every story can be Cinderella like that. Some people some people have that advantage, or some people have that, they have that, they're lucky enough in their life to walk off the stage like that. And I think Drew Brees, at this juncture right now, I just think with the pandemic, everything that went on right before the season, all the records he broke, and just his body's wearing down on him. He wants to spend, you could tell he's a family guy, and you tell he wants to go out and, spend some time with his family and kind of move on to the next phase of his life, which is going to be his, I think it's an NBC contract. He's going to start calling games for NBC. But if this is the last year, Drew, I wish you the best. I just want to kind of talk about my becoming a Saints fan all the way up until today. Like I said, my dad was a huge Saints fan, and in this area, it's Saints. That's all we had our, to actually just hang our hat on. It's the Saints. Even though they were really bad, I remember coming when I was little. I mean, my dad yelling at the TV all the time. My uncles and aunts and all getting together and just yelling at the TV, you know, Saints, rah, rah, rah. But I remember I really started getting interested into it when I was probably like in 6th, 7th, 8th grade, something like that, and we got Bobby Hebert. Bobby Hebert was our quarterback, and he came in the in the 80s, and he stayed with us, I want to say, till about the early 90s, and then he moved on to the Falcons. But that's when I really started really paying attention to football. Bobby Hebert was the first quarterback to bring us to the playoffs, and I remember that year we went to the playoffs, and we hosted a playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings. It was the first playoff game ever. We scored the first touchdown. It was 7-0. I remember that. I was like, man, we're going to win a playoff game, blah, blah, blah. Minnesota ended up beating us. I think it was 42-7. Like, yeah, it was crazy. We had the Dome Patrol at that time, but they just, for some reason, it's like we just completely shit the bed. It was like our first playoff appearance, and we couldn't do anything right. But we were always in the thick of things. It was the NFC West back then. They redid some of the divisions. I want to say in the late 90s, maybe early 2000s, when they redid some of they had the expansion teams. They had the Jacksonville Jaguars and they had the Carolina Panthers. They came in and they moved some stuff around. But before that, we were in the NFC West. We were in the division with still the Falcons, but we also had San Francisco and we had the Rams. So when we were growing up, I got to watch Joe Montana, because, I mean, he was in our division, which was weird because we're in the NFC South now. We don't play. It kind of makes sense that they stayed off to the West with
Arizona,
Seattle, all of those guys. Yeah, it was weird. It made sense for them to stay there. But when I was growing up, it was the NFC West. We were in that, so it was the Falcons, us, the Rams, and the 49ers. Now, I remember the quarterbacks, the Rams, it was Jim Everett. He was kind of like the popular guy when I was started to get invested in football. Bobby Hebert was the quarterback. Joe Montana was the 49ers quarterback. And I think it was Chris Chandler was like maybe a quarterback for the Falcons, but the Falcons suck anyway. It don't matter if they were in the West or the South. The Falcons suck. They do, man. I'm sorry. No, look. I mean, it's a little division rivalry, but there's two teams that I don't like. That's the Dallas Cowboys and the Falcons. So it's not that I don't like the players that are on the Falcons. It's just the whole idea of Falcons and Cowboys. Because you see, I like the Dak Prescott, but I hate Dak Prescott because he plays for the Cowboys. I hated Tony Romo when he played for the Cowboys, okay? But I love him as the announcer for CBS. I love the dude. Like, he's so funny. He sits there and he's with his little microphone and he's dissecting every play because he's a quarterback and he knows how it happens. And it's like he knows it's going to happen before it happens. But Tony Romo was I hated Tony Romo when he was with the Cowboys. But those two teams, Cowboys and Falcons, don't like him. But in that division, I was blessed to see Joe Montana. The only thing that happened is that every time we were good too because we had the Dome Patrol. The Dome Patrol consists of Sam Mills, Pat Swilling, Vaughn Johnson, and what's the other guy's name? I'm coming up with a blank. Vaughn Johnson, Ricky Jackson, that's who it was, who went to the 49ers for a little while and won a Super Bowl with them. Remember Ricky Jackson?
Ricky Wilson?
No, Ricky Jackson. Yeah, Ricky Jackson, number 47. He was
he had Ricky
not
Williams
47,
too.
Not 47. It was 57. He was a lineman, defensive lineman. The Saints had him for years. He was part of the Dome Patrol, and he was traded to the 49ers, and he won a Super Bowl with I think it was with Young, the year Young won it. But Anywho, we had one of the best. In fact, I think the NFL, they did a show and they did the top 10 defenses of all time. And they said the Dome Patrol was the number one defense of all time. And let me tell you, those guys, you could
more than the Bears.
Yes,
Really?
which was weird. If you Google, NFL Network does like top 10, whatever they do, top 10 quarterbacks, top 10 rivals, top 10 catches, top 10 whatever. They did a top 10 defensive show one time. Legion of Boom was 3. Number 2 was the Monsters of the Midway. That's who they called the Bears. And then number 1 was the Dome Patrol. And it was the Saints. I was like, wow, look at that. And they even brought Jim Moore in. Jim Moore said he has never seen a defense that. Now, the problem with it was nobody could score more than 7 points on us, but Bobby Hebert couldn't put more than 3 points on the board at one point. So it was weird because we could never make it gel. But there was that one time, I think it was like the late 80s and the mid 90s where the Saints were just killing everybody. But every single time we get into the playoffs, we were like 11-5, and Joe Montana was like 12-4. So we'd always have to play on the road in the playoffs.
But not during the Mike Ditka era. You guys were pretty good?
During Mike Dick, when he was the coach?
97 or 99.
No, we sucked. We sucked horribly.
So Jim Mora was 86 to 96.
Yeah. Jim Mora was a great coach. He was strict, and he was a funny coach because he'd lose his shit. Every time, some of the top rants in sports legend history comes from freaking Jim Mora. Playoffs, and he was the guy that he was very old school in his coaching and his thinking and his philosophy. So if somebody would go up to him and interview Jim Mora, like he would just look at him like they're totally stupid. Like, hey, coach, you guys are 7-8. You missed the playoffs. This is the last game of the season. Don't you sort of think that this game just really doesn't mean anything? You're just kind of going through the motions. And Jim Moore just all lost it. Like, what do you mean it doesn't matter? That's the stupidest question. Like, he gets so mad. But I love Jim Moore because he was a fiery type of guy. He was a defensive type guy. His son, Jim Moore Jr., I think he coached the Falcons for a little while.
Coached the Niners?
He did coach the Niners, yeah. He had some success. It's like he'll have success and then it goes off to the wayside. So, but Jim Moore was our coach. That's when I really started getting into football, really watching it, really dissecting it, really understanding the plays. Like what was a tight end used for? What was a halfback? Because mind you, when I grew up, I played like 2 seasons of football. I just wasn't really a big guy. I rode the bench a lot. I went to every practice, but I got beat up on the field. I was more like the crash test dummy, like, hey, Rhett, go catch that ball. And 2 big guys would just destroy me. And my heart was in it, but I just wasn't big enough. So, but I loved it. I loved watching football. I loved analyzing, and I love picking it apart every play. And I got to watch Jim Mora, Bobby Hebert, the Dome Patrol. Then when that all kind of fizzled away, Mike Ditka came in as the head coach. And the only thing I remember about Mike Ditka is him trading away, everything that the Saints owned to get Ricky Williams. Because Ricky Williams was the big prospect coming out of Texas. And, he threw everything but the kitchen sink to get him. And when we got him, it was great. They even did I think ESPN did a spread on him where Ricky Williams wore a bride's dress, and Mike Ditka was the groom, and they took a picture together.
He won the Heisman?
Yeah, he won the Heisman, yeah. But he comes in. He came in at a time, I think Jeff Blake was our quarterback. Jeff Blake was the guy. He was the quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals, and he had some success with them, but we ended up getting Jeff Blake. And it was Jeff Blake and Ricky Williams that were kind of playing together. And then our backup quarterback at that time was Aaron Brooks. So it didn't work out with Mike Ditka. The only really thing that Mike Ditka really had going for him was the Burger King value meal. Every time I'd pull up, I remember in the late 90s pulling up to Burger King and seeing Mike Ditka holding the Whopper. Hey! It was like a Saints thing. And that's all I really remember from the Mike Ditka era, the Ditka burger, the Ditka deal. That's what it was called, the Ditka deal. And the whole Ricky Williams saga thing. But he got X'd, and then Jim Haslett came in. He was the defensive coordinator for the Saints, and then he came in. He took over as the head coach. And in 2000, we started off really well. I think it was like 8-0 we started off. Jeff Blake was the quarterback, but then Jeff Blake broke his leg. So Aaron Brooks comes in. And he just lights it up with Ricky Williams. Then the next weekend, I remember this, I was at the game. The next weekend, I think we were playing against the Raiders, it was, and Ricky Williams went out with a leg injury. So I forgot who came in, who was the running back after that, but it was Aaron Brooks, and we had another guy named, I want to say it was Willie Johnson or Will. I don't know. The names are escaping me. Eric Johnson or something like that. Joe Horn was a wide receiver too. And that year in 2000, it was like magic, dude. It was like freaking the song was "Who Let the Dogs Out." Yeah, I remember that.
They were 10-6.
They were 10-6 that year. Yeah, they were 10-6. Aaron Brooks came out. He was like the new phenomenon or whatever. But I remember "Who Let the Dogs Out" was a song. They kept playing that song over and over and over again. The Saints. That's another thing that I can pick, like a bone pick with the Saints fan base. When we like hold on to something, we ride it until we break the back, like we beat the dead horse. You know what I'm saying? Like, back up a little bit. When Bobby Hebert was going for it in 92, I remember this. When I was at South Terrebonne in 92, South Terrebonne High School they won a state championship that year with David Butler. But also that same year, I remember the Saints were undefeated too. So Bobby Hebert was the quarterback. And it was like 8-0, okay? It went up to 8-0. And I remember this because every time I'd go to school, they had a sign right in front of Presque Isle, and there was a sign that said, 8-0 Gators, 8-0 Saints. And every day they would paint it like 1-0, 1-0, 2-0, 2-0. They'd go back and forth and they'd go paint it. Well, that year was the Rallies commercial. I don't know if you remember that. The cha-ching, the Seth Green. You don't remember the Seth Green commercial?
We didn't have Rallies.
Y'all did, Rallies in Cali. Y'all had as hamburgers in Cali. Y'all had In-N-Out?
Not when I was young.
In-N-Out's so good.
Oh, yeah.
I can do a whole podcast
like Burger
on that.
King, McDonald's, Jack in the Box was big.
Oh, okay. Well, we had Rallies over here.
Carl's Jr. too, which is Hardee's here.
Hardee's, yeah. I've never tried it, but they had a commercial in there. Seth Green, the one that plays Dr. Evil's son in the Austin Powers things. He was the Rallies front man, like the whatever you call it. Spokesperson, yeah. And basically, it was Rallies. The whole theme of the commercial was Rallies was, a very cheap way of getting a meal. He played this guy where, when a family of four goes out and get like a couple of Happy Meals or whatever, it ends up being like $70. But at Rallies, you'll never pay that much. So the whole thing was, all right, let me repeat your order here. That'll be one chicken sandwich, ching. One double meat patty burger, cha-ching. Double fries, extra milkshake, cha-ching. So that was the whole thing. And it was like at the end, all right, your order will be $132. And then the guy's like, we're a little shy. So that popped off. So it was the whole cha-ching thing. Like, so every time we'd score a touchdown, it was cha-ching, bada bing. And we did that for like 5 years, dude. And it was like so bad. I was over the cha-ching thing. So if y'all remember the cha-ching thing, leave a message and a comment on this, because I'm telling you, it drove me nuts. But in 2000, it became, who let the dogs out? So for 5 years, I had to listen to Who Let the Dogs Out at the Superdome, okay? Because I was a season ticket holder with my wife, Holly. We'd go to that, and that's the only song that we heard for 5 years. Even though we sucked terribly behind Aaron Brooks, it was bad. Now, you looked it up. I think that year in 2000, we went 10-6, and we won our first playoff game.
Yeah, against the Rams.
The Rams, Kurt Warner. Now, I remember that. My mom and dad actually got tickets, and they went. And my brother Benji, who I've had on the podcast before, we were at our camp in Chauvin, and we're sitting down and we're watching the game. Well, we are destroying the Rams. It was like 31-13, like at half. Like, I think Aaron Brooks threw 3 touchdowns to help me with it. Is it Willie? Are you looking at it? Willie Johnson or something? They don't have any comment. He threw 3 touchdowns to this guy, wide receiver. We're like destroying the Rams. Well, then at halftime, the Rams start coming back. They start coming back. And I'm like, oh, my God. Like, and Warner at the time, they were called the greatest show on turf. And, I mean, didn't they just win the Super Bowl, huh?
I don't know.
Well, in 2000, no, it was 99. I'm sorry. 99, they won it against the Titans.
Yeah.
2000, they lost against the Patriots. I think it was. 2001, it was that year. I think Tampa and the Raiders went that year, if I'm not mistaken, to the Super Bowl. But we beat the Rams, and then we ended up losing in the divisional round to the Vikings, I want to say. Or, I don't know. I might be getting my dates wrong.
No, it looks like the Rams won in 2000.
They won in 2000? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They won
sorry.
They won in 2002. Well, no, I'm sorry. 99, 99, it was the Atlanta Falcons. They lost to, who did they lose to? Was it Denver? I want to say it was Denver. Denver won 2 back-to-back Super Bowls, 89 and 99.
Yeah,
okay.
Denver, yeah.
Okay. I'm the Rain Man of Super Bowls. Like, let me get this right. I'm pretty good at this. Okay, so 2000, the Rams won. 2001, did the Rams go back and lose to the Patriots? And then the next year, it was Tampa and the Raiders.
I'm trying to Google this.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's cool. But anyway, I remember.
What'd you say?
I want to say it was the Rams and the Rams in
Denver 99.
Yep.
St. Louis 2000.
Okay.
Baltimore Ravens 2001.
Against the Giants, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Then Patriots against the Rams.
Right.
2002.
Then
Tampa Bay
versus Oakland. Right. Okay.
Then New England, Pittsburgh, Colts, Giants, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, Colts was 2006, right? That was the year we were supposed to go. We lost to
2006 was Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Seahawks.
Oh, you're doing the next year. No, you're doing the year before that. Okay, that was Matt Hasselbeck that played that game. That was Bill Cowher's only Super Bowl, I think. Yeah. No, yeah, his only Super Bowl. They eventually, the Steelers won another one, but with Mike Tomlin. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So 2006, that's when the Saints got on the map. So I'm getting a little bit too far ahead of myself. But that playoff game, we won. Then we ended up going to lose to, I think it was the Vikings. The Vikings beat the hell out of us in the divisional round. But the next year, we started off 8-0, and I think we ended like 9-7 or something. I remember that. And then it was just the demise of Jim Haslett and Aaron Brooks. And then I want to say, we had some great games. Some of the highlights of that time period, we had a big bad mofo named Kyle Turley, okay? Dude had like long blonde hair. Dude was just like, listen to Slayer, Anthrax. He'd be in the freaking locker room just destroying stuff. And I remember there was a Monday Night Football game against the Jets. And I watched it on TV. I didn't go to the game that night. And Aaron Brooks was going in for a run or something, and one of the linemen grabbed his mask and just pulled it back. I mean, completely like was ripping his neck off. I don't know if it was accident, his fingers were caught, but nonetheless, Kyle Turley saw that and proceeded to beat the holy hell out of this dude. That guy went on the bottom of the pile and was not going to leave until that freaking helmet was off of his head. And he did. Kyle Turley came out of the pile. He didn't have his helmet on. He tossed the freaking Jets helmet. He got ejected from the game. That was a highlight of that 2000 to 2005 period. Another highlight was Joe Horn catching the catching a touchdown pass, running into the end zone, lifting up the pad on the uprights, on the goalpost, pulling out a cell phone and making a call, saying, "Hey man, call me. I got this." That was another highlight that the Saints had between 2000. You remember that?
He got fined pretty.
He got fined. Yeah, that was against the Giants. I remember that. He got fined for that, and there was a rule change saying that you can't use any gimmicks or like any type of prop, because that same year. Actually, the game before, Terrell Owens did it in San Francisco. He caught a touchdown pass against the Seahawks, pulled a Sharpie out of his thing, signed the ball, and gave it to him. So Joe Horn the next week says, "I'm gonna up that," and he did the phone thing, and that's when the rule change happened.
Who was the guy that grabbed the pom poms?
That was Terrell.
That was Terrell?
Yeah,
okay.
Terrell did the popcorn. Terrell was like the best dude for the celebrations. Like he was really good at his stuff. He would put when he did the was it the cowboy star thing? I mean, he would push the envelope on that. But I mean, I like how the NFL went back to the celebration thing, because come on, at the end of the day, yeah, these guys are making millions. But I mean, when you take the fun out of football, man, that was great. But yeah, I remember that. That was that was some of the highlights from the 2000 to 2005 seasons with Jim Haslett, Aaron Brooks, Joe Horn, all them guys. Well, Joe Horn, I think, Joe Horn stayed. So 2005 happened. Katrina totally ravished New Orleans. Aaron Brooks was traded to the Raiders at that time, I remember. We were going. Jim Haslett was fired. We were going through a total rebuild, and then Katrina hit. They hired Sean Payton. I want to say they hired Sean Payton right before Katrina hit. Sean Payton's looking around. There was two guys that he was trying to get to come to New Orleans. One was Tony Romo. He was pushing to get Tony Romo to come because Sean Payton was the assistant head coach under Bill Parcells at the Cowboys, and he worked with Tony Romo. Well, then Drew Brees he was with the Chargers, and they had just drafted Eli Manning, actually, and then they traded Eli Manning to the Giants because the Giants had Phillip Rivers. So the writing was on the wall for Drew Brees. He's like, y'all going in a different direction. I'm actually not going to probably not going to renew my contract. It was the last game of the season, or maybe it was one of those meaningless games or whatever. Drew Brees he fumbled the ball. He went to fall on it, twisted himself kind of wrong on his throwing arm, and totally ripped his rotator cuff. I mean, ripped it to shreds. Thought he wouldn't be able to play football again. Has surgery. Does 2 interviews over the summer, one with the Saints and another one with Miami. Because at that time, Nick Saban left LSU and went to the Dolphins. Thank God Nick Saban passed on Drew Brees because he thought he was a liability with his arm. He comes over to the New Orleans Saints. And I remember hearing a story that Sean Payton's like trying to get this guy to bite on the Saints. And he's taking him through some possible places to live and everything. Well, he takes a wrong turn and he goes down like the 9th Ward, which was really ravaged by Hurricane Katrina. They had like cars on top of houses. They had all kind of stuff. And Sean Payton said in the back of his mind, he says, "Man," he goes, "maybe I should just drive this dude to South Miami right now because he's not going to take the freaking job seeing all of this." But Drew Brees said in an interview, he says, "Man, him and Brittany were looking at each other and they saw the deeper meaning behind it, saying, man, we can come here and actually help rebuild this city, not only from a football standpoint, but also from a community standpoint. We can actually make a difference over here." And that's what they did. He signed a contract. It was a $50 million, either $50 or $60 million contract for 5 years. And they came right out of the gate, man. 2006, I wasn't giving them a chance. I was like, man, whatever happens, happens. But in 2005, I remember this. It was April, and it was the draft. Well, we didn't have a quarterback. We had Sean Payton. And the draft at that time, Reggie Bush was the Reggie Bush was the number one prospect. Well, we were 13-3 that year, the last year of 2005, before the Sean Payton era happened. And 13-3, we hire Sean Payton. We go to
3-13.
What am I saying?
You said 13-3.
Oh yeah, no, we sucked. Vice versa. That yeah, no. We were 13-3 this year. No, I'm sorry, last year. I think we were 12-4 this year. No, we were 3-13. We were ass in 2005. I mean, we were playing on the road. We got hit with Katrina. Not like we had superstars. We still had Aaron Brooks. We were playing in San Antonio, Texas. That's where we played at the entire year. But they cleaned house. We go to the draft. I'm on a cruise ship, okay? This is the first time I'm taking a cruise ever. So I go with my partners. We go and, we're drinking and we're watching the draft. And the Houston Texans are the first ones on the clock. And we're like, they're going to pick Reggie Bush. They didn't pick Reggie Bush. They picked Mario Williams, I think it was. That big stud freaking defensive end. And we're like, what the hell? Reggie Bush fell in our hands. We picked second. We got Reggie Bush. So we have Reggie Bush. We have Sean Payton. Then we pick up Drew Brees in free agency. We have Joe Horn still. We have Deuce McAllister, who's a great freaking running back still. So we have some pieces to an offensive puzzle and an offensive genius in Sean Payton. And we just take off, man. I remember the first game of that season, I want to say we played on the road at Lambeau. We played the Green Bay Packers and in 2006. This is Rain Man stuff that's coming.
Well, wait. So you said Reggie Bush was drafted in 2005.
Well, it was the 2006 season, okay. 2005, 2006 season.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say I looked it up on Wikipedia. He was 2006.
Yeah, it was the season. It was the year of Katrina, actually. Katrina happened in 2005. He got drafted the 05-06 season, okay. Like that spring. Because I remember I was on the cruise ship, and we saw that, and I was like, what the hell? We got Reggie Bush. This is great. First game of that season, I remember. I think it was Green Bay. We beat Green Bay. Then we go play Cleveland. I want to say.
So Drew Brees is a quarterback.
Drew Brees is the quarterback.
So
yep.
they passed up on Vince Young.
Yes.
That draft.
Well,
he was number 3.
He was number 3. Yeah,
and he was coming off a huge year.
Well, I mean, I want to say we just signed Drew Brees. So give him a good running back
before the draft.
Before the draft, okay. Yeah. So. We got the offensive pieces. We play Green Bay, we win. We play Cleveland, I want to say, we win. We're 2-0. We go into the Superdome, the first reopening of the Superdome in 2006. We play the Atlanta Falcons. Green Day and YouTube play The Saints Are Coming in 2006. They played it live because they had reopened the Superdome. We completely destroyed the energy in that.
Did you say YouTube?
I said U2.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did I say YouTube? I might have said YouTube. I don't know. I'm just flying. It was U2 and Green Day. Yeah, Saints Are Coming. It was a remake of an old song by the Boondocks, Saint Boondocks. I think that's the name of the group, Saint Boondocks, or the Boondock Saints or something like that. They did the Saints Are Coming, and it was a remake. So it was like the rebirth of, the Superdome, everything. That night, I don't know if y'all remember at that time, but Michael Vick was the real deal. That dude was like, he just came out of, I think it was Virginia Tech he played for. The dude was just like on fire, running around. They made commercials with him called the Mike Vick Experience, like roller coasters, like you riding a roller coaster, like you're experiencing him. Dude was phenomenal. He would beat everybody. But not the Saints. The Saints always had that number for some reason. But that night, Steve Gleason, who is suffering from ALS now, blocked a field goal. And that was just the culmination of everything. It was like, we're tired of getting spit on. We're tired of the brown paper bags. We just got ravaged by a hurricane. We're back, cuz. We're 3-0, and that's nobody's stopping us. And we just started running rampage. I think the next week we played... I don't know who we played, but I remember we were 5-0, and we went 5-0 against Philadelphia, who was like the la creme de la creme in the 2000s. You had Donovan McNabb. You had Andy Reid was the coach back then. You had Westbrook. I don't know if you remember the running back Westbrook. You had, Terrell was a part of it like later on, but they were always good. Philadelphia was always good. They were always in the mix. They were always in the playoffs. They just can never get to the Super Bowl, which is ironically how we've been the last 4 years. We've been like the frickin' Philadelphia of the 2000s, as of late. But so we beat Philadelphia, and I remember I was at the game behind the goalpost, and there was 8 minutes left in the game, and all we needed to do, it was tied. All we needed to do was come down the field, kick a field goal, and we're done. And I remember Drew Brees, it was an 8-minute drive, slow as can be, 20-yard line, went all the way down, ran the clock out, ran 8 minutes off the clock, and we kicked the field goal, and we beat Donovan McNabb. We were 5-0, and then I think we started stumbling that year and everything. You go through your growing pains or whatever, but there was a Sunday night football game that we played in Cowboy Stadium. Not Jerry's Dome or whatever you call that, not the new one. It was the old Cowboy Stadium. And it was a Sunday night football game. It was Bill Parcells was the head football coach, and we were and it was Sean Payton. So it was like a mentor versus student, lion versus hyena. Like that old man versus young man. Well, I remember it. We start off that game, and we were both. I think the Cowboys were 9-3, and we were 9-3. We went into that game, and the Saints were just, we were killing them. We went up on them, I want to say 21-0, and we did an onside kick and got it and scored again. Talk about just beating the hell out of you, beating, like, to a pulp. Like, you can't breathe? Good. We're going to keep your head underneath the water even more. That game right there, we killed it. That's when I knew for a fact that Sean Payton and Drew Brees era was like for real. This is in 2006. We coming. So we enter the playoffs, and get this. This is weird, okay? So I remember this. Like I said, I'm the Rain Man of facts with footballs when it comes to the Saints and stuff. But that year, the biggest it was the Bears. The Bears finished that year 13-3. Okay, the Bears were we were right behind them. Okay. We finished the season 10-6 that year. They were the number 1 seed. We were the number 2 seed at 10-6. 10-6 didn't get you in the playoffs this year. The Dolphins were 10-6, and they didn't even get in the playoffs. In 2006, we were 10-6 at the number 2 seed. Okay, that's weird to me. So I thought we'd have a huge chance because at the number 2 seed, 10-6, that means the league wasn't really that good. Now, the Bears were good. Brian Urlacher was on the team. Like, they were freaking, the defense was killing it. But a little dude by the name of Rex Grossman was, like, throwing bombs, man. It was, like, horrible. Like, who's this little punk? But we found out who that little punk was in the playoffs. So I remember the first year I went to that game, the first playoff game with the Sean Payton and Drew Brees era. We played Philadelphia. We had a first-round bye. We were the number 2 seed. Philadelphia comes in, and I'm scared. I'm at this game. I'm scared, man, because Philadelphia, they've been here. They've done that. They know what they're doing. They've been in the playoffs plenty of times. You're playing against Andy Reid. You're playing against, at that year, Donovan McNabb got hurt, and they had Jeff Garcia as the quarterback. So Jeff Garcia played that game, but still in all, Westbrook, all them guys, that's some good dudes, man. Those are some really good football players. I remember the first play from scrimmage that the Saints had, Drew Brees backs up. He's trying to do this little bubble screen out to Reggie Bush. He floats it out there. Reggie Bush gets destroyed. You can pull this up on YouTube and pull it. Just say Reggie Bush playoff game for the Eagles gets, pow! Gets lit. I forgot the dude's name. It was a linebacker for the Philadelphia Eagles. He was a badass dude. Reggie Bush gets up and he's like, He's trying, and then he gets back down. I'm like, dude, you don't have to be proud, like have an ego with that. If you get knocked out, dude, just lay down. I've been knocked out before like that. Like when you lose your breath like that, dude, it's scary. Yeah, it's scary. I played football when I was younger. I didn't get tackled to where I got the wind knocked out of me. I actually caught a pass where the point of the football hit me right in the diaphragm, and I caught it and went down, but it knocked the wind out, and it took a good minute to like, dude, that's a scary feeling. It's like you can't breathe. So, but yeah, no, Reggie Bush got lit up. But then we just started methodically winning this game, man, pounding the ball with Reggie, pounding the ball with Deuce McAllister. There was this one play where Deuce got stood up at like the 7-yard line, and he just pushed the pile in. We ended up winning the game at the end. It was a close game. I want to say it was like 27-24 or whatever. We ended up winning it. It was the first time that the Saints were going to the NFC Championship game against the Chicago Bears. So, you know, we go to Chicago, and I just had a feeling that we weren't going to win. You know, like you always have that feeling like, yes, you want your team to win. We're going to the Super Bowl. We're one win away from the Super Bowl. But it's like you don't fit like it's like, man, we're still new. We're still rookies. This is all still gelling. It's at Chicago. It's snowing.
Yeah, it was raining. Yeah,
it was rain. It was like a wet snow.
Yeah, it was like muddy.
And they had rumors. I mean, I don't know what happened, and they may have, but I had some of my old bosses and stuff bought tickets and flew to Chicago, went to the game. Said they were treated very horribly. Like Bear fans were pissing in the snow and throwing piss snowballs at them and stuff. Like dumping beer on their head. There was reports that they wet the Saints sideline. You know, they were like walking in water. You know, they were you know, I mean, it's freezing, snowy water and everything, and they're walking in it. It's just some miserable conditions to play in. But you know, who knows? But I just had a feeling that we weren't going. It just wasn't our time. It really wasn't our time that year. Drew Brees had this bomb ass play to Bush. He kind of got behind Urlacher, caught it like kind of like in stride, and just took off. Did a fleur de leap into the end zone. Did a front flip. Kind of did a little walk it out in the end zone. I think we were within 2 points at that time, but then Rex Grossman just went off. We had some horrible DBs that year. I want to say, I think Jason David was the next year, but we had Fred Thomas. We had no Lattimores on that team, or no CJs or PJs. We didn't have none of those guys on the team. We had some. We didn't have talent on that side, so he just picked us apart. But Rex Grossman and all ended up going to the Super Bowl that year in 2006 against Peyton Manning and the Colts, and they ended up getting whooped over there in Miami. But the next year, I felt good. I was like, man, the Saints are here. You know, we got a young quarterback. We got Drew Brees. We got Sean Payton, Hunger. You know, and we're gonna do this. Well, the next 3 years, man, or 2 years, I think it was, we couldn't get anything done. I think we finished 8-8 or 7-9 a couple of times, and we really couldn't get over the hump. And I was like, what the hell's going on? Then, you know, like when you have success, and then about 3 or 4 years down the line, you're not having success, and you start questioning coaches, quarterbacks, personnel. You start questioning all that. There was some talk around that time about Sean Payton, like, is he really the guy? Is he, you know, should we look elsewhere? You know, we were still putting up some amazing stats, and we were being competitive in games and all, a lot better than Jim Haslett and, you know, the Aaron Brooks era. But, you know, you start thinking, you know, what you're going to do, future, and then 2009 comes around. And when 2009 came around, that was the year that Sean Payton put Super Bowl or bus on it was Super Bowl 44 or bus or something. And it was this mentality of like, guys, we're going to win the Super Bowl this year and nobody's going to stop us. And they just, that year they believed in it. I don't know. The first game that year was against the Lions. Look, and I don't have no notes, guys. I just remember this stuff. The first year, it was against the Lions. Drew Brees threw 6 touchdowns that game. I was at that game. And I just knew for a fact that, like, the way they were playing, like, I was actually watching plays develop and on. I was like, dude, nobody's going to touch the Saints this year. This is amazing what they're doing. The schemes, these little bubble screens, everything was working. Drew Brees was hitting people way down the field, like with precision. I mean, this dude he was not off the mark. Nobody could stop us. That year, we ended up winning 13 games in a row. Now, in 2006, they were still playing that dumbass song, Who Let the Dogs Out, okay? Like I told you. But in 2007, 2008, they started playing Stand Up and Get Crunk. I don't know why they started doing that, but it started catching on right around 2007, 2008. Stand Up and Get Crunk by the Yin Yang Twins. Now, them guys are from Atlanta, and they made that song for the Atlanta Falcons. But, you know, of course, Saints are going to steal everything from Atlanta. But we adopted that song, and, dude, you cannot score a touchdown, or you cannot make a field goal, or you cannot do anything without hearing Stand Up and Get Crunk. So Stand Up and Get Crunk was at, like, its height in 2009. So you couldn't go anywhere in a bar. You couldn't go anywhere with football games without hearing that song play constantly. And that year just gelled, man. Like, the city was on fire. Everybody was just happy. Like, Saints went 13-0. Their first loss was against the damn Cowgirls. I remember that. Back then, they had Saturday Night Football. I don't know if you remember that. They tried that for a little while. It was Thursday Night Football, and they did Saturday Night Football. That Saturday night game, it was against the Cowboys. I remember that. My wife was pregnant for Meg, my middle child, and we went to that game. We ended up losing to the Cowboys, and I remember the first touchdown. Remember Miles Austin? Miles, the goofy-looking dude that played Tom Brady. Not Tom Brady. Tony Romo was the quarterback. They came in, and they beat us. So we were 13-1. We had to win one game out of those three to be the number one seed, because the Vikings were up our ass that year. The Vikings were right behind us. Brett Favre was throwing freaking bombs that year. Brett Favre was, like, unbelievable that year.
Is that when Randy Moss played?
No. Randy Moss was playing with the Patriots. Yeah.
Oh, he wasn't on the Vikings.
No, he wasn't on the Vikings. He was on the Patriots. So, yeah, he was with Tom Brady. So that year, they're behind us, okay? So we have to keep winning. Well, I remember we lost to the Cowboys. The next week, we come in. All we have to do is beat Tampa, okay? All we have to do is beat Tampa Bay, and we're the number one seed. We win in 14-0. This is the first game that I bring my oldest girl, Emmy, to. I was like, she's going to be my good luck charm. When she comes to the game, they're going to win. They ended up losing it. They lost 17-14. I think it was an overtime loss. Our kicker was Garrett Hartley at the time, and he missed a field goal to win the game in overtime. He missed, and then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers went back, boom, kicked it. We're 13-2. May not have home field advantage throughout because the Vikings keep winning. The Vikings played the Bears that Monday night. If they lost, then the Saints get home field. The Bears were crap that year. Crap. They ended up beating Brett Favre. So we got the number one seed. So we got to sat our starters the next week, which was against the Carolina Panthers. So we ended up, the season ended 13-3. We had home field advantage throughout. The first round of the playoffs that we played. Now, mind you, that year, a little tip to Tom Brady for doing what he did to us this week, but that year, we played Tom Brady on it was a Monday night football game. It was either Monday night or Sunday night football game. We played Tom Brady and the Patriots, and we demolished them. I mean, it was like 34-16 or something. Randy Moss was played in that game. We shut him down. We destroyed the Patriots. In fact, I want to say they pulled Tom Brady out of the game in the fourth quarter. You can Google me on that, but I think in the fourth quarter, they yanked him out because they were like, there's no way you're going to be coming back. Beat the hell out of him. What's his name? Belichick went and congratulated Jonathan Vilma at the end of the game. Belichick never does that. Jonathan Vilma was our linebacker that we acquired from the Jets, and he went up to him and told him, he says, I'm glad I don't have to play you twice a year because he's that good. Jonathan Vilma was that good. He was like the quarterback of the defense. But We destroyed Tom Brady. So, I mean, but it seems like we always beat Tom Brady in the regular season, but just can't beat him in the I don't know. But anywho. But that year, we started off our divisional round against the Cardinals. The Cardinals were actually pretty good. They played in the Super Bowl prior to that year against the Steelers that year. So they still had, great players. They had Tim Highwater was their running back. Hightower, not Highwater. Hightower, Kurt Warner was the quarterback. Larry Fitzgerald was still there. They had some good players. I mean, they just come off of the Super Bowl loss to the Steelers, which they almost won at the end. It's just Santana Holmes, I think it was, that made that spectacular play at the end. But that year, I remember I was at that game, and Tim Hightower took the first play from scrimmage. Boom, 70-something yards. Boom, touchdown. I'm like, oh, no, here we go. Now, we lost 3 games in a row in the regular season. We were 13-0. We lose to the Cowboys, to Tampa, and to Carolina Panthers going into the playoffs. Plus, we had a bye week. So the starters really didn't play for a good 3-4 weeks. So I'm like, oh, God, no, here we go. But I remember that game, Reggie Bush came out with a bat in his hand. I said, look at this guy. This guy's got a baseball bat in his hand. Well, I read some behind the scenes after the game. We ended up winning that game like big time. But Sean Payton saw Reggie with a bat, and he says, I'm going to go out there, and we're going to beat him, coach. We're going to beat him with the bat and everything like that. It's just symbolic, And he says, if you run out of the tunnel with that bat in your hand, you better back it up. You better play, And he says, okay, cool. And you can Google this play, but there was this play that Reggie Bush did. I don't know how he did it. He caught the ball, he runs, and he just stopped for like 3 or 4 seconds. These 2 defensive players come at him, and he just jukes them and runs for a touchdown. Dude, it was the most amazing play I've ever seen in my life. But he played his ass off that game. Also, I think Kurt Warner made the decision that he ain't playing no more from that game because Bobby McCray, one of our defensive guys, he laid his ass when he threw an interception, knocked him out of the game. He eventually came back and finished the game, but I think he saw too many stars and said, shit on this, I'm retiring. I think that was his last year. But we ended up beating the Cardinals. And then we host the first time ever we host the NFC Championship game in the Superdome. We had tickets. Like I said, I was a season ticket holder. My wife and I went. Again, she's pregnant for Meg. It was very exciting because at that time they didn't have Championship Square. Championship Square is like this big thing that they demolished one of the buildings that was destroyed by Katrina. I think it was like the shopping mall. They destroyed it. Now it's this big old hole, but they made a big old stage out of it. They call it Champion Square after they won the Super Bowl that year. And they have bands and, vendors and food people, and it's just a place to hang out if you don't have a place to tailgate before the game. But anyway, they didn't have that for the championship game. It was just the ramp, and I remember they had Rockin' Dupes he was playing, and they had the Steve Miller Band that was playing out there and everything. So it was amazing. We get out there, we go play. Yin Yang Twins, I think, played out there too. It was, the staying up and get crunk. Oh, I'm sorry, the Fly Like an Eagle guy. No, that was in 2006. I'm sorry, my bad. 2006. That was the Steve Miller Band, because we played the Eagles. I want to fry like an eagle. That's what he said. I remember that. He changed the lyrics for that. But anyway, 2009. I don't remember. I actually remember seeing the Yin Yang Twins in a shoe store. Me and my buddy Byron, we walking in the shoe store, and we're just killing time, and the Yin Yang Twins were in there, and they're like, they talking like that.
They're talking like Yin Yang Twins?
Yeah, they are. They were talking like, like, I'm like, they really talk like that. It's not just an act for the song. They actually talk like that. But the only thing that was disappointing, they had Minnesota stuff on. I was like, dude, y'all performing for the Saints. Y'all should be wearing Saints stuff. The Saints paid y'all, But anyway, whatever. But we went to the game. We went to Razzoos, did a few things, went to the game, and They won. They ended up winning, but it was a back and forth game, man. The first score was from Adrian Peterson. They come in. It was 7-0. We go back. We score 7-7. We score again 14-7. They score 14-14. Go in at the half 21-21. I think we went to overtime 28-28. Coin toss. We get it. To lead up to overtime, Brett Favre throws across his chest or across his body, which is what you don't do, and got an interception from Tracy Porter. But I remember that. I remember sitting there. It was like a minute and a half on the clock, and Brett Favre has the ball and he's coming down the field, and I'm like, I look at Holly, we're gonna lose. We're gonna lose this damn game on the last second field goal. And she's like, don't say that, don't say that, da-da-da-da. They come up. They're at the 50-yard line, man, and all they really need to do, they got a good kicker at that time. All they really need to do is get an extra 5-10 yards, and they're good. Well, they get the 5 or 10 yards. It's third down, second down, third down, something like that. They're on the 40-yard line. They go into the huddle. There's 12 men in the huddle. Sean Payton's losing his shit on the sideline. I could see it. 12 men in the huddle. Backs him up 10 yards. So it takes him out of field goal range pretty much. That was huge. So it backs him up. Now, really all Brett Favre needed to do was hand off the ball, get about 5 more yards, and try a 50-something yard field goal to win to go to the Super Bowl. But they didn't. They decided to throw. And Brett Favre, he's running like a little crossing route to the he's running. They flush him out of the pocket to the right. And Sidney Rice is running across here, and he tries to throw across his body. Well, he didn't see Tracy Porter. He comes across. He intercepts it. Comes in. Probably about 13 seconds left. We run out the clock. We go to overtime. Now, the overtime rules at that time didn't change to sudden. It was sudden death. Didn't matter if you kick a field goal, scored a touchdown. Whoever scores first wins. Luckily, we got the coin toss. We go down. I remember that on that play, we barely got there, too, because I don't know if y'all remember, Pierre Thomas had to it was a 4th and 1. He had to make a freaking, like a tough play, and he almost fumbled. He got hit in the head. He held on to it. They gave it to him. They had a replay. They gave it to him. We had a couple of more yards. Then we said, to hell with it, let's kick it. Hartley goes out there. They call timeout. Goes to the sideline. If you Google this, you can Google the conversation he had between Hartley and Sean Payton. He said, the protection's been good all day up front with these guys. Look, I don't want you to think about nothing else but hitting that Florida Lee right there. I'll carry you in. Here's what. Just hit your kick, son. You know why? Because you deserve to be here. He says that word for word, verbatim. I remember that because I love those motivational talks that coaches have with – because he was pissed off at him. If you go back, he was pissed off at Hartley because, one, the dude couldn't pass a physical. Like he was failing piss tests and shit. He was taking, I don't know if it was Adderall or some crazy shit he was taking, but that, and he was missing kicks at that particular time. So Sean Payton, his rationale in that was like just to preach confidence. You never want to go back and say, oh man, don't think about this, don't think about that. Hey, man, you the man, bro. Go get it. Because what more can you do? You can't say, don't think about this, don't think about that. Just, hey, man, go hit your kick, bro. You deserve to be here. You know, he's like, he motivates people. And that's exactly what he did. He kicked the shit out of that ball, and it went through. And I remember that. I looked at my wife, and I was like, she goes, you're going to the Super Bowl, right? And I said, come hell or high water, I'm going to the damn Super Bowl. So, that was a great celebration. I mean, the confetti. I remember, I didn't know at the time. I didn't know he was a rapist at the time. But Darren Sharper was one of our safeties, and I remember him carrying the NFC Championship. Well, I don't know what they call it, the trophy. He was running around the Superdome with it, and he had his T-shirt on, and it was just so cool to see that and be there and witness that firsthand. And then
you were dressed up like the Who Dat Madness.
That came later. That wasn't that. Yeah, that wasn't that year. I dressed up as a character. I wanted to be one of those fanatics, but that came, I think, in 2011 when that came. But But yeah, so I ended up going to the Super Bowl by chance because I looked at my wife and I told her, I was like, look, I want to go to the Super Bowl. This is a once in a lifetime thing. The Saints will probably never go again. And in hindsight, I'm glad I did what I did because 10 years ago, we still didn't go to the damn Super Bowl. So I looked on, at that time, it was NFL Ticket Exchange, StubHub. Those were the main things that you go find tickets. They wanted like $2,000 to $3,000 a ticket, dude. And I'm talking nosebleed stuff. And I was like, man, I want to do it, but I mean, I can't fathom paying, at least $4,000 for 2 tickets for my wife to go. That's not even plane. That's not hotel, food. Man, it's just too much. And then my wife said, look, why don't you do this? Why don't you just go take $2,000, buy you a big TV and invite a bunch of people over and just have a huge party? And I was like, yeah, let's do that. Okay. All right, cool. So I'm sitting there all depressed, trying to figure out, seeing all these people. I'm going to do the Super Bowl. I'm going to do the Super Bowl. And I'm just sitting here, blah, 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 blah. Well, my cousin is a season ticket holder too. Well, they do this thing with Saints. Well, with Super Bowl tickets, what they do is they'll do like a certain percentage online, open to the general public, but they'll also hold some tickets for the teams that won and let the ticket master of that particular team handle it. So you can go to the New Orleans, like that year, you can go to New Orleans Saints website and buy tickets, or they would only unleash like a few tickets to buy, but you had to be like a prominent season ticket holder to buy them. Like you had to be 30 years or whatever. Then they had like 10,000 tickets where they did a lottery, where they just pull season tickets names, and then they would call, hey, such and such, your name's been selected. You have a chance to buy 2 tickets at face value. Do you want them? No, or yeah, whatever they pay. If they got them, cool, come get them. If not, they would go to the next one. Well, I was waiting for my name to be pulled. It wasn't. But one of my cousins' name got pulled. So she called me and she says, Rhett, she said, I got the tickets. They're a face value, $800. You're going to be in the end zone, behind the Saints end zone. I went, wow. What? I was like, okay, yes, buy them. So they were $800 a piece. So she bought them for $1,600. 2 tickets. All right, cool, Holly. We're going to the friggin' Super Bowl, okay? Started looking at flights and everything. We decided we were just going to drive because, I mean, we drive to Disney World every year, and that year was in Miami. So another hour driving from Orlando, whatever. Let's make a trip out of it. Well, my wife decided she didn't want to come. I'm like, okay, cool. She was pregnant at the time, if you remember. She was like 6-7 months pregnant from Meg. And she was like, I just don't think I could take that excitement, jumping up and down, pregnant people, drunk people,
loud,
loud.
Trap walking.
Exactly. Like she just, poor thing. I just didn't want her to, go through all of that. But I wanted her to experience the Super Bowl but I mean, she's a Saints fan, but she's not like a hardcore Saints fan like I was. So I'm like, all right, cool. So I asked my dad. My dad's like, nah, I just want to stay home. I'm like, Dad, Super Bowl, I get it. Like, let's go. Nah, so I asked my brothers. They couldn't really make it. I'm like, well, what the hell? Like, I'm like, then one of my uncles, my Uncle Perry, he called me. He says, hey, man, I heard you need somebody to go. Look, I'll buy the plane tickets if you buy the tickets. He says, I looked at the plane tickets. They're about $1,200 round trip. He says, I'll get the hotel too. So you pay the $1,600 for the tickets. I'll pay the $1,600 for the flight and hotel, and we'll go. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Uncle Perry, let's go. So we ended up going. We flew out there. Now, get this. It was Mardi Gras around that time. I was a member of Hercules, and they rode the Friday night before the Super Bowl. So we went party that Thursday night, drunk as Cooter Brown, all day Friday, ride around, ride on the float, drunk, wake up Saturday morning, fly to Miami, party Saturday night in style because we had the Super Bowl. Sunday morning, wake up, we went to, it was Cracker Barrel. We went eat. We all decked out in our Saints stuff, and everybody's recognizing us. Yeah, y'all going to the game? Yeah, it was all cool. It's like we were movie stars, man. It was so awesome. Had our tickets around our necks, in our little bitty, like you don't do that to a regular game. You just stick your ticket in your pocket. No, we were like VIPs. We were like walking around with Super Bowl tickets.
Did you guys do like all the games and stuff outside?
Yeah, all the experience. Yeah, we went. So we went to Cracker Barrel. We leave. We go over there, and I mean, dude, I'm just in awe. Like the stadium has like a stadium around it. Like it's the Dolphin Stadium. It was MetLife Stadium, I think it was called at the time, or Sun Life Stadium. I think they're in a new stadium now. I'm not sure, but so we get there, and there's the NFL experience. So we got to go walk through and see all the different rings from the championship, see all the different shields, because over the years they had rebranding and they had, they changed their names from, you just went to see the history of the NFC, the AFC, the original teams. Like the Packers were called something else, at the time, like right when they started, they had the Oilers. It was just the history you learned of the NFL. Then they had like these games where you throw the football, and they had these little things where you sit down and they draw you, and you can buy authentic jerseys. It was pretty cool. And then they had like entertainment. So that year they had Steve Winwood played, and Chris Daughtry played. So it was kind of cool to see that, because you always see that on TV, and you're like,
what was Steve Winwood's big song?
Steve Winwood was like, roll with it, baby. Hang on and just roll. And then Valerie, like he did all of his old stuff too. Wasn't he in Cream or something?
He was in Traffic.
Traffic, yeah. He was in an old band, and then he went
classic rock band.
Yeah. Give Me Some Lovin'. That's yeah. On a haunted house and a second world.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah. So get me, baby. Yeah, that song. He did that one too. So it was kind of cool to watch him do that. And then Chris Daughtry come out. He recently won. At that time, he was kind of big because he had recently won. Well, he didn't win American Idol. He was like a top 4. And he had, some cool songs that were on the radio at that time. So we got to see him. Then we start making our way to the stadium, and you know how they got, at that time, CBS had the rights to the Super Bowl that year. So it was Jim Brown, Bill Cowher, Phil Simms, Dan Marino was on it at the time,
Dan
too.
Marino, yeah.
I don't think he's on it right now. Boomer Esiason was on it.
Shannon Sharp?
Shannon Sharp was on it, yep. And I think that was it. It was those guys. And then they did like a little tailgate cooking thing with Guy Fieri, okay? So he was out there. So we were around the little barricade, and he was there. So Guy was like standing right there. My Uncle Perry was like, dude, my wife is like in love with that guy. I'm going to call my wife. So he calls his wife, my Aunt Kayla. Hey, hang on a second. I got somebody who wants to talk to you. Guy, come over here. My wife would love to talk to you, Guy. So he walks over. He grabs the phone from my uncle, and he goes, hey, what's up? He's got that raspy voice. Hey, what's up? And then it hung up, and he goes, I think she hung up on you, dude. And then he walks away. Then he came back, and he was just bullshit with us. And I said, hey, man, you mind signing my hat? And he goes, no, man. He grabbed my hat, and I had a Mardi Gras hat. It was a Mardi Gras visor. So it was like a purple visor with a yellow back right here and a green fleur-de-lis. So, and it had Mardi Gras series on the side of it. And he signed it. And he says, man, it must be really cool. Saints first time. I said, yeah, man, I wouldn't have missed it for the world. And he's like, yeah, man, that's cool, man. He goes, who dat? And then he walks away. So we leave. We took a picture with him. We leave. We go to the stadium. We walk in. And, dude, it was just so... The Saints were in the Super Bowl, but just being at the Super Bowl, you know what I'm saying? It was the weirdest thing, because you see this on TV all the time. The freshly painted grass, the pyrotechnics, the everything. It was amazing to see that happen. So we're in the stadium there, and it's mind you, it's February. It's in Miami. You don't think it's cold, but it is kind of cold. It was like 50 degrees that night. So it's an outdoor stadium. So we were wearing jackets. As soon as that sun got past and the shadows started hitting us, it got pretty cool. So we get our jackets on. They setting up for the Star Spangled Banner. It was Carrie Underwood who sang the Star Spangled Banner. She sang it. The jets flew over. That was amazing, just to see the jets fly over. You got your cameras out, boy. Kickoff hits, and that was 10 years ago. So we had we didn't have like really iPhones like this. It was like razors, and people still had flip phones back then too. It was like this wasn't the run of the muck.
The Jets are crazy, huh?
Yeah, the Jets were like the goosebumps, man.
Dude, I don't think I ever told you, but when I went to a Niner game, they had an air show going on by the stadium, and they had like 3 or 4 jets fly over really fast and really low, right? So I get home after the game, and my dad's like, dude, did you see? And it wasn't even like before the game. It was like during the game.
Right.
It flew over. John Madden was broadcasting, and he was like freaking out. Because, he doesn't fly.
Right.
He was taking the bus.
Yeah, he always takes the bus.
He's like, they can't be doing that during the game. And he was super paranoid about it, I guess.
Yeah,
Anyways.
like they'll fly on top of us and stuff like that. Yeah, John Madden was like, they rode that bus, the turducken bus or whatever they called it. But yeah, so Carrie Underwood sings, the Jets go over our heads, and then they got kickoff, and there's a Saints couple sitting behind me, and then in front of us it was nothing but Colts fans. So we're like clapping each other, talking, how, where you're from, where I'm from, and stuff like that. And then the Colts fans started talking smack, and we're just like, look, guys, like, we're not here to talk smack. We're just here to, man, we're enjoying the moment. We're like the last 2 teams, man. Everybody else is home watching us, man. Like, what's everybody else doing? We're at the Super Bowl, man. Like, win, lose, or draw, we didn't care. We're at the freaking Super Bowl. Now, they kick a field goal. It's 3-0. Then they come back and they get burned on this little out route from Peyton Manning to God, I forgot his name. But he gets the touchdown over the top, and it's 10-0. We're fighting. We come back. We kick 2 field goals, 2 long field goals. Hartley kicks 2 40-yard field goals. We go into halftime. It's 10-6. I'm kind of getting like, at that point, I would kind of like didn't care. Like, I was like, when it was 10-0, I was like, oh shit, we're gonna get our asses stomped.
Were you drunk?
I was, but I think I was more. The adrenaline rush was more than the alcohol, so it outweighed it. Like, we drank a lot, but it's like I wasn't even buzzing. It's like I was on a different kind of high. But the Who was the special guest because, Janet Jackson shows her titas a couple of years before, and all the fun acts go away. Now we got dinosaurs on the stage. But I ain't gonna lie, the Who was actually pretty cool to watch. I mean, the Who. I mean, who doesn't like the Who, So they playing, we won't give food again, and all these great songs from 50 years ago, Pinball Wizard, all of that stuff. And little did I know that Sean Payton's developing the greatest play in history, which was Ambush, getting ready to come out. And Ambush was the onside kick. So he comes out. I go get a drink. I come back out, and as I'm sitting down, they do the onside kick. I spill my drink all over the place because they do that. And I'm like, oh, my God, what the hell did you just do? You're doing an onside kick to start the freaking second half off. You know the balls you got to have to do that? Like, when you don't have to, you do it. And they get what seemed like, if you watch it on TV, it was like a minute. It was like a minute for them to take them off the pile and say Saints ball. But in the stadium, it felt like an hour. It felt like an hour them pulling them off. They're like, what the hell's going on? They finally unpile it. They get it. They come back. They do a bubble screen to Pierre Thomas, and that's the only action that happened on our side of the field. Because mind you, we're in the Saints end zone, so everything happened on that side of the field. That was the only thing that happened in front of me and my Uncle Perry. It was the Pierre Thomas bubble screen where he dives into the end zone. So it's 13-10. They get the ball back. They score. It's 17-13. We get the ball back. We score a field goal. It's 16-17 going into the fourth quarter. Heebie-jeebie time right here because, like, oh, my God. We're actually pretty close. We kept this game close. Anything can freaking happen. We get the ball back to start the fourth quarter. We go down. We score. Well, we're up by 5 because, mind you, we're kicking field goals. We kick like 3 field goals, so we're down. We're actually down by 1. We need to make it a 7-point deal. Jeremy Shockey scores the touchdown. We get in, boom. Lance Moore catches that 2-point conversion, pulls it over the end zone. They kick it out of his hand. They called it was an incomplete pass. They reviewed it. They challenged it. They reviewed it. They said that he did, in fact, get the 2-point conversion. So now we're up by 7. It's 24-17. Big time heebie-jeebie time because it got like 7 minutes on the clock, 7 to 5 minutes on the clock. Peyton Manning, greatest of all times, coming down. He's going to freaking tie it. I know he will. He throws a pass to Reggie Wayne. Tracy Porter jumps the freaking route, catches it 70 yards the other way. It's a touchdown. It's 31-17. Even though we're up by 2 touchdowns, you're still worried. Like, there's 4 minutes on the clock. But at that time, the reality starts sinking in to me and all the Saints fans around us that, yo, we could possibly win this thing. Game's over with. We actually win it. The Colts fans in front of us, they say not. We're too busy embracing each other as Saints fans. We made it, dude. It's here. We didn't even like really bully the Colts fans at all. We weren't talking mess. We weren't doing anything. It was just years and years of just anguish and everything just went out the door. Here we are, Saints. And at that time, it's 2009. We just went to the NFC Championship game 3 years later against the Chicago Bears. We won the Super Bowl. Drew Brees is getting ready to renew his contract. Dude, here we go. Like, years and years of freaking good football. And that's how it did. It turned out that way. But it just seemed like heartache, man. Like, we had the best team in football that could not win a Super Bowl. You realize that?
So, yeah, I have the stats here.
Uh-huh.
From 2010 to now, I mean, they made the playoffs a bunch, but from 2014 to 2016, that's when they went 7-9, 3 seasons in a row.
Yeah.
What happened there?
I think nothing really. Like, they had a good team. They were good. It's just I think that their woes were their defense. That Drew Brees had to. Because they still statistically was the best offense during those 7-9 seasons, but their defense was horrible. We had Spagliato, whatever the hell his name was. Plus, Sean Payton got suspended for that whole year too.
2012, they went 7-9. That was Bounty Gate.
Yeah.
2013, 11-5.
Right. 2013, 11-5, lost in the divisional round
Then the 3 years of 7-9.
We lost in the divisional round to San Francisco, right? That year.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a good game, though.
That was a good game. See, that was the year that was actually the season where Jimmy Graham was like freaking unstoppable. And him and Rob Gronkowski were going tick for tack with the record that year. He'd break it, then Rob would break it, and it would just go back and forth. But that year, I think it was 2012 or 2013, the year that Sean Payton got back, there was one game that we played the Cowboys where we broke a record. We had like 40 first downs against him, against the Cowboys. We had the most prolific offense. Like, we were the new greatest show on turf because we had Darren Sproles, we had we had Jimmy Graham, we had Marcus Colston. Our running back was Sproles, but I think he was splitting with somebody too. He was splitting later on with what's his face. It was a short period of time. Mark Ingram. He's shared with Mark Ingram a little bit, and then we got Kamara with Mark Ingram, but it's like that we had the best offense, the scariest offense. Nobody wanted to play the Saints, but it's like every time we go to the playoffs, we'd shit the bed. We went to the playoffs 11-5 and shit the bed against Seattle. There was a 7-9 team, and we lost over there. Then one year we go play the divisional round against San Francisco, which was a great game. We destroyed the Lions that year. Then we go play 49ers. Pierre Thomas got his ass lit up like in one of those first or second series, and it just changed the whole complex of the game. Like, just took Pierre Thomas out. And
so the stats that I'm getting that I was just talking about was from an article that says Sean Payton is an all-time fraud. Like saying that he had a Hall of Fame quarterback for what, 13 seasons?
I read an article this morning that's saying that this quarterback coach duo is the most underachieving quarterback coach duo ever.
Do you think so?
I think so. I think so. I really think that. They've accomplished a lot, and look, it's hard to win
the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we got a Super Bowl, and we've been in the playoffs. I mean, consistently
competitive.
Yeah, we've been competitive. You can't ask for anything better in the NFL. I mean, you can't win the damn Super Bowl every year. I mean, Tom Brady does, but you can't do that unless you're Tom Brady. But Tom Brady. No, dude, the dude's amazing. I'm giving him his props. I mean, the dude's amazing. I mean, come on.
Well, I mean, if you think about like Aaron Rodgers, right?
Right.
Who was his coach when he won?
When he won, it was Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, I mean, that's not even going anymore.
No, that's not going anymore. Yeah.
So, I mean, Brees was literally with Sean Payton the whole time.
Exactly. But, I mean, think about it. Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, they're going to win another Super Bowl together. It's inevitable. They're going to.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be inevitable that Sean Payton and Drew Brees was going to win another Super Bowl. At least another, just like Ben Roethlisberger did. He won 2 Super Bowls, I'm kind of shocked that Aaron Rodgers hasn't won 2 Super Bowls yet, But I mean, you can give him the excuse that he has a different coach now, but I think he has a better coach now than he did when he won the Super Bowl. So, but I don't know, man. It's just a lot of heartache, like the way it ended with the Saints. I mean, you had the way it ended in the playoffs. Like you had the playoff loss to the 7-9 Seahawks. That was beast mode game, remember? Beast mode. He beat the shit out of our entire defense. That will forever be on the Saints record. Who did it happen to? The Saints. All kind of weird stuff happens to the Saints, okay? We do the miracle in Jacksonville where we get the touchdown and all we got to do is make the extra point and we tie the game and we shank the extra point. We do this most amazing play to get the touchdown and we shank the extra point. Beast mode, tarnished. Next year we go to San Francisco. We lose to Alex Smith and
Vernon
Davis. All we got to do is stop him, guys. We got less than a minute. All we got to do is stop him, and we can't stop him.
That game. He had like a 50-yard run against.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. I mean, all you got to do is stop him, DBs. That's it. That's all you got to do is stop him from scoring. Guess what? You win. Nope, we don't win. Then the next time we go to the playoffs, this is when it really gets silly, okay? We play Minnesota. Actually, we sweep. They said it can't be done. It's hard to beat people 3 times in a row. We did it to Carolina 4 years ago, okay? We beat them twice in the regular season, Cam Newton, whatever. And then we beat him, and then we go in the regular season, we beat them in the playoffs. Then we go to the Vikings, okay, whose quarterback is Case Keenum, who's probably bagging groceries at Target right now, okay? What is it with Alex Smith, Kirk Cousins, Rex Grossman, Case Keenum? We lose. We have a Hall of Fame quarterback. And we can't beat these freaking Target baggers. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the disappointing part about it. I can handle a loss to Tom Brady. I can handle that. I can't handle all these idiots.
Yeah, not the elite.
You know what I'm saying?
Guys, yeah.
They're not elite. And we had enough. I mean, Okay, that game right there, that's on the defense, man. They screwed the pooch on that one. Drew Brees got us into – we played like crap that first half, okay? Then we come back, we get back. Drew Brees puts us in that, and then we just screw the pooch. Stephon Diggs gets it, and we're out. Heartbreak. Okay, the next year, we're badder and better than ever. We killing everybody. We killed the Rams at home. Rams were like supposed to be the biggest thing since sliced bread. We kill them. We get into the playoffs. What happens? We get a bye week. They come in. Who was the first team we played on the bye week? Maybe that was Carolina.
Eagles?
Maybe that was Carolina. No, yeah, it was the Eagles. Yeah. It was the Eagles. I'm sorry. Because the Eagles just won the Super Bowl against Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So we come in, we play the Eagles, and we didn't play a good game. The Eagles almost beat us. If what was his name? Alshon Jeffrey. He had butterfingers, and the ball went right through his hand, and Lattimore, I think, got the interception. Then we end up going to the NFC Championship game in the Dome again against the Rams. We all know what happened with that. I don't even want to talk about that shit.
Let's talk about it, man.
It was bullshit, okay?
Yeah, that was really bad.
That was bad. I'm sorry. The game should have been ended. We should have been in the Super Bowl, and we would have beat the shit out of Tom Brady. I don't care what anybody says. We would have beat the hell out of him because it was the Patriots 13, Maroon 5, and the Rams 3. Come on, man. Get out of here. All right. But anyway, sour grapes, whatever. We're moving on. All right, cool. Damn it. Next year, we come up like, okay, still sour taste in our mouths, all right? We're going to do this. We come out of the gates flying, bro. 13-3 again. That's 3 years in a row we were 13-3. You got to make something happen with that.
Yeah.
But Aaron Rodgers was 13-3, and was it in Seattle 13-3? So, no. Niners. Yeah, Niners were 13-3. So Niners got the bye and Green Bay got the bye. We had to play wild card against
Vikings.
The Vikings, okay? And we just shit the bed on that game. We didn't even show up for that game. Like, that was a non-competitive game, okay? So here you go. 3 years in a row, playoff disappointment. Heartache. Now, I can live with... No, I can't live with any of these damn things, to be honest with you. But this year, COVID, all right? COVID hits us, and realistically, it's going to be either this year or next year is going to be Drew Brees' final year. But here we go, COVID. Take advantage of that crap. You got teams that are they don't have their quarterbacks, they don't have this, they don't have that. You don't have your fan base to, take advantage of that. It's like an even playing field. When you're going on the road, it's not really a road game anymore, But it's like, I feel, and look, don't get me wrong, man. I love what the Saints have done. The last 15, let's face it, we could have a team like, the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, or the Cleveland Browns.
The Jets.
The Jets, yes.
When was the last time the Jets won?
Super Bowl III. Honestly, Super Bowl III is the last time they won anything.
Mark Sanchez.
And they're in New York, man. That they should be winning all the time, like the Yankees. But it's just, we have a winner, yes, but I just feel, like, I don't think records matter to them, but I think it did matter to them. Records, like, they always wanted to shatter records. They always wanted to be the first at everything. I think Tom Brady wanted to be the first at winning Super Bowl. He just wants to win. I don't give a crap about stats. I don't give a crap how ugly it is. I want to win.
He's just a gamer, man.
He didn't care about style points. I felt like, and maybe I'm just being too nitpicky, but I'm really trying to dissect this. Like, I think Sean Payton gets too cute sometimes, too cute for his own britches. He just gets a little cute. And
little tricky.
Yeah, and then I think, to come to Drew Brees' defense, it's like, I know he don't like, he'll say he's all about winning and everything, but when you got a rhythm going and you moving that ball down the field, and Peyton yanks his ass to put Taysom Hill in there to try one of these trick-ass plays, this year, 3 of those trick-ass plays burnt the Saints. He fumbled the ball or he threw interceptions, and to me, it's like if you're riding the hot hand, which is Drew Brees, ride the hot hand all the way, man. Like, don't throw something in the mix and screw everything up. Because I'm telling you, if we would have a couple of weeks ago, Taysom Hill, it was the Eagles game. If we would have won that game, we could have had a bye. But, you know, like, who knows what happened with the other games? But I mean, we should have beat the Eagles, man. We should have beat the Eagles. Come on, man. But that's what happens, man. You let your guard down, you know. And Sean Payton will do stuff like, you know, like put cheese in people's lockers and say, "Don't eat the cheese." Well, then they freaking ate the cheese, man. They ate it. You put it in front of them.
It's going to go bad.
Yeah, exactly. That was like reverse psychology in your face.
So, who did the Saints draft last year?
Damn, I don't even know. I was like so out of it because of COVID. I really didn't pay attention.
they haven't drafted a quarterback. What did they?
No.
What's the plan, you think?
Well, the plan was Taysom Hill and Teddy Bridgewater, but Teddy Bridgewater, like what happened with that was Drew wasn't retiring. I mean, I think if Drew Brees would have retired last year, we would have kept Teddy Bridgewater. There was no question about it. We would have kept him. But, I mean, you can't afford him. If Brees is going to stay on, you can't afford him. So get a backup like Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston's a good quarterback. He has the skills. I just think he doesn't have it up here. You know, he's got the skills. He just don't have the football smarts. You know, somebody like Drew Brees, his skills are diminishing, but he has football smarts. I mean, it's unbelievable the stuff he comes up with. You know, like
the only thing I would say to that would be consistency.
Yeah.
You know, like when Alex Smith was playing with the Niners, he had 9 seasons of 9 different offensive coordinators.
Yeah. I mean,
you can't different playbooks.
You can't
year.
Buy into a system if you're
look at
if you have a new system
Patriots,
every year.
They have the same offensive coordinator for 6-7 years in a row.
Right. So you have that longevity, you have the consistency, you have the timing there. Because I mean, let's face it, football is choreography. It really is. You're just trying to paint a picture.
Well, especially at the quarterback position.
Right. It's all about timing. It's all about accuracy, footwork, quick decisions, you know, and knowing at all times where everybody is on the field. Because it's amazing. Some of those quarterbacks, that's the one thing I'm going to miss about Drew if he does go. He knows where everybody's supposed to be, even when you don't know where you're supposed to be. So you'll see him like, you know, you have a running back and he's on the left-hand side, he'll look at him and he'll do this and then he'll get to the other side. Maybe that was designed for him to move that way. Maybe it wasn't, but he knows exactly where everybody needs to be at. And I just think as a quarterback, yes, of course, you got to have skills, but you got to have those smart. You got to be smart because let's say Drew Brees didn't know he wasn't supposed to be there. What if Drew takes the ball, turns around, goes to hand it off, and the dude's on the other side? You know, that crap happens. It does. Not on Tom Brady's watch, not on Drew Brees' watch, not on Roethlisberger's watch. You know, that stuff doesn't happen. The Jameis Winstons and all, they just care about themselves. You know, like they care about, you know, they don't look at, they're like, as long as I did what I'm supposed to do, I'm okay. You know, whereas somebody like a Tom Brady, a Drew Brees, a Peyton Manning, they're like, no, you're going to do it as a team thing, you know. And I think that's what I'm going to miss about that. Will we ever have anybody like Drew Brees again? Probably not. Will we have somebody consistent that might make us a run for the playoffs and go win a Super Bowl? Yeah. I mean,
it could happen.
Kaepernick did it with the 49ers a couple of years ago. Taysom Hill might be able to do it with his running style.
It could. I mean, to think like the Packers had 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks,
right,
in a small period of time,
right.
It could happen. You know?
I mean, the Colts did it. They had it with Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. I mean, unfortunately, Andrew Luck couldn't stay healthy, but yeah, they catch lightning in the bottle. You know, like maybe we might draft somebody next year that, or I mean, I don't know. Sean Payton's not a dumb guy. He's gonna have that team ready to go. I just hope if he does get another Drew Brees, like another guy that that's smart, has the skills, he takes full advantage of what he's got, because I just have a feeling that, man, we have everything. The last 4 years, we had everything we needed to create a dynasty. It's just I felt like I don't know. I don't know if they just gave up at the end or if they just didn't have or if it's just freaking a bad run of luck. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. All I know is that I hope and pray that Drew Brees is good with his decision. Like, I don't want him 5 years or 20 years down the line to be like, man, I left a lot on the table. You know what I'm saying? I hope he's good with it. And I know he's going to be good with it. I know he will. I hope Sean Payton don't look back and regret, like, golly, I had this dude for 15 years and we won one Super Bowl. And
well, you could have won maybe two.
Yeah, you could have won maybe two.
But play was bad.
But still in all, I mean, when you look at, like I said, we shit the bed in a lot of playoff performances, but we also had some weird shit happen to us in some playoff performances. Like,
well, if you would have had the crowd in this game, I think it would have been maybe.
Oh yeah, I think it would have helped. I really think it would have helped. Yeah, but I mean, it is what it is, man. So I hope and pray that we can. Honestly, I just hope and pray we go back to normal and we can get back to a normal football season where we don't have a football game on a Thursday or on a Wednesday at 1:00 because of COVID and all this stuff. Because the Steelers did that at one point. I just hope I hope we can go back to normal. I hope everybody can reconvene in the Superdome. Drew, if this is your last ride, man, it's been great. You've done wonders for the city, the state. You've done wonders for the game. I know we all can't go out like a Cinderella story, holding the trophy. There's only the last two people that did that in my eyes. That was very significant. Well, three people. I could say it would be Peyton Manning did it. Ray Lewis did it when he was with the Ravens. He went out on top. And I don't know, one of the, they had another guy. Oh, Jerome Bennis. After he won with the Steelers, he went out on top. Kurt Warner tried to go out on top, with the Super Bowl, but he came back thinking that he could, get back to the Super Bowl with the Cardinals. And, you just never know. But, and Kurt Warner, he said he was good. I remember in an interview, he said, do I want to be known as I left with Bobby McCray knocking me out in the last game? But he says, you know what? I've accomplished everything I want. I won a Super Bowl, went back to a Super Bowl. He did everything he could, And I think as an athlete, I think Drew Brees, he's going to look and he's going to reflect on everything. Did I do everything I could? When I was on that field, did I do everything that I could in that moment to win? And if he's okay with that, retire, dude. You don't owe anybody an explanation. I know some crazy stuff happened right before the season, COVID, all the the kneeling and the standing and all of that stuff. Man, don't let that be part of Drew Brees' accomplishments or tarnish his legacy. The guy's done way more stuff than just a bad comment he made or an insincere comment. I think he squashed that, but I think if he does decide to move on to bigger and better things, I think he's going to be a great, analyst for, I think it's NBC he's going to. I think he's going to do great with that. So from the bottom of my heart, Drew, and the bottom of the Who Dat Nation's heart, if this is your last year, man, thank you so much. You've given so much. You don't owe anybody a freaking thing, a freaking apology. Enjoy life. If you get into politics or if you get into Sports Center or whatever you do, I'm sure you're going to be good at whatever you decide to do. Just stick around in the state, man. Keep the good things going around because you've given so much since the hurricane. One Super Bowl, a couple of playoff runs, lots of money donated to the city. Just keep your head up, Who Dat Nation. We're going to come back. We're going to be back. And if not, it was a great run. I'm going to start following Aaron Rodgers. They're going to be my quarterback. Who's your I'm going to ask you this as we end in this. If there wasn't the Saints, there's two teams that I would follow. It would be Green Bay, not because of Aaron Rodgers. I like them growing up with Brett Favre. I just liked Brett Favre. The Packers, the Cheeseheads, I think it's a great nostalgic, historic team. That's my NFC team. My AFC team is the Bengals. I don't know why. When I was growing up, watching the Saints, I used to watch them play in the Super Bowl with I think they only played once with but they were good. The Ickey Shuffle and all, Ickey Woods and all. And I like their uniforms, just white and orange. They pop. So those are my two teams. So Joe Burrow, get better, cool dad. I'm going to watch it next year. It just depends on who's the quarterback for. I'm going to be a Saint. It's Who Dat for life, man. But those are my two teams. What about you?
Packers.
Packers? Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. With Aaron Rodgers being from Northern California, not too far from where I grew
Well, he
up.
was supposed to be a 49er, huh? In his mind.
Yeah, a lot of guys wanted to be 49ers. Jared Goff, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Grew up in San Mateo. That's not that far.
Right.
I think the AFC would probably be the Steelers. Just something about the Steelers, like
just that.
I don't know, just that hardcore,
mystique,
cold, like
pound football, no teeth.
Yeah.
The Greens of the world that just no teeth, just gat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
But it's still curtain. Well, back in the 70s, they were the bomb, dude. I mean, these guys would play for like $500 a game and cutting my arm off. Let's go.
Never going to be the sea chickens. Never going to be the lambs.
Yeah, he's a 49ers fan, the NFC West over there. I'll never, ever be a Falcon fan or a Cowboy fan. It just ain't gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm not a Cowboys fan.
Nah, and it's because the Cowboys they just think they're so good and they're not. Every year it's their year, and I just love seeing them go in anguish. And Falcons are kind of like, the little brother that you pick on all the time. They're in our division. They've been in our division. They've went to 2 Super Bowls and lost both of them. And the way they lost them was just so bad. And the only one we went to, we won. So, sorry about that, But good luck to Tom Brady. Good luck to Aaron Rodgers. Good luck to Josh Allen. And I hope Patrick Mahomes knows where he's at, I mean, he got popped and he was just like, hey, man. You saw that? He was just like going back and forth like, hey, man. He was doing like, dude, it looked scary at first because it didn't look like he got hit at all. It just looked like he got stretched a weird way. So hopefully you're doing good, man, because, he's the future of the NFL right now. And you'd hate to see him go out with, a little like, for a while and be a vegetable. But he looked bad coming off the field yesterday. But weird football season, COVID, everything that's going on.
Who's your pick?
My pick for the Super Bowl now?
Super Bowl.
I'm gonna stick with my original pick. It's gonna be the State Farm Super Bowl. It's gonna be but it depends on if Patrick comes back. But the Bills are playing some ball, man. But if Patrick comes back, they're gonna beat the Bills. There's no way. It's gonna be Chiefs Packs in the Super Bowl. It's gonna be the State Farm Super Bowl.
Well, who you got winning?
The only one. I have Green Bay winning.
Green Bay?
Yeah. I have Green Bay winning. And I think the only people that are going to benefit from the Super Bowl is State Farm.
Right.
I mean, come on, think about it.
That's going to be a cool Super Bowl.
That would be
two running quarterbacks.
And they're friends in real life. They're actually good buddies.
Like, what's the Super Bowl going to be like? Like, the weekend is going to be playing.
The weekend's going to be playing to an empty stadium. Yeah.
Is it going to be empty, or are they going to have anybody?
Well, I think they're going to. The last I heard, they were going to have like 6,000 people there. That's going to be like a $80,000 ticket to make up for the difference. It's going to be a weird Super Bowl. I mean, it's in the times that we're in right now, so we'll see, man. I don't know. It's going to be interesting, but Who Dat for life, man. Love you, Drew. I hope you decide to come back for one more year and just hand the ball off and then just walk off the field. Like that's my last. Not this crap that y'all put on the field yesterday, man. It's just, I hate to see you go out like that. But like I said, if you're good with it, you go for it, man. But thank y'all for listening. We're going to be back next week with some more guests, some more topics on the DJ Rhett podcast. Thank y'all so much. Wash your little hands and y'all stay safe, Shaq.
The DJ Rhett Podcast.
That's your mom and them.